Today we will are discussing a very interesting session that is about the experiential learning and importance of experiential learning, principles of experiential learning, and the Kolb's experiential learning theory and learning styles. How can online learning help with the experiential learning? How corporate companies use the experiential learning? Conventional learning versus the experience learning. Is experiential learning the future of learning? Then the as usual the case study, research papers and the book recommendations. So, first we will try to understand that is what is exactly the experiential learning is there, right. So, means involving or based on the experience and observations are there, right. So, it is the individual. So, many times the people said it is the whether the MBA is necessary. Some people say no, MBA is not necessary. Many people are there, those who are very successful leaders, but they are not a MBA, right. So, therefore, then how they have become successful. So, that is about the experiential learning is there. So, whatever their life's experiences where they have used as a that is we say that is a life is like a book, right, and therefore, they have used those experiences and taking the decisions on the basis of the past experiences, and this way the experiential learning is taken has leaded the leaders, right. So, experiential learning is the process of learning through experience and is more narrowly defined as learning through reflection on doing. So, whatever the actions are done, so they have taken the decisions on basis of that, the past success and failures are there. So, it is not limited to hands on laboratory experiments, internships, practicums, field exercises, study abroad, undergraduate research and the studio performances are there. No, this is not the limited to this one only, that what they have done during their this type of this academic learning is there, right. While whatever the tacit knowledge, the tacit knowledge which they have used for the purpose of this getting this particular learning. So, here that whatever they have done the acting, right. So, act, and on basis of that act the decisions which they have taken, right. So, therefore, those decisions are giving them certain experience. Just this like simple example is to trust or not to trust. So, this will be the just in a decision, and therefore, when the decisions are they are very positive, so they will continue, and they are not positive, then they will stop that particular acting will be different, right. So, therefore, in that case the experiential learning fosters development of self and organization is there, and the strength of the experiential learning is this. Suppose you are working into a particular X company, and there you are going through all this literature and laboratory experiments and the primary data and the secondary data and all. But in that case whatever they are having these the development of self while doing in that particular department, section with that particular person, right, and therefore, what type of the how Mr. X will behave, right, that you learn from the experiential learning is there, right. So, therefore, or what my father will say if I do this, right. So, therefore, in that case that will be the experiential learning. In knowledge and skills, breadth and depth of understanding, which ultimately results in increased self confidence and the esteem is there, right. So, therefore, in that case it is always becoming the better understanding of the people, and because that is a first hand experience is there. It brings about the perfection in the performance of job, and therefore, you become the perfect one. It helps employees gain in status and enables individuals to move into more prestigious social roles and better rewarded jobs are there, right. So, therefore, in that case it will be becoming the very important that is the whatever the prestigious social roles are there. And whatever the rewards have been gained by the particular person. So, therefore, that will be making him the learning. It helps employees also, right. So, therefore, in that case whenever they are making this particular performance or experience at the workplace, as I was saying, like that is the Mr. X. So, that Mr. X is well known to you. So, therefore, in that case that particular understanding that will be much more, right, than from the any secondary data is concerned. It provides a competitive advantage for the survival and the progress is there. right. So, in the within organizations you know how to handle. It facilitates organizational change and development also, because the your experiential learning, you know what will be the future of the this organization, what changes are to be made to be more effective. So, therefore, organization will develop. It helps in maintaining better relations with suppliers and customers and dealers, because already you are having the expense. In meeting challenges faced by the organization. Now, you see every organization is having its own history, and in that particular history that they have to exercise, they have exercised that how that problem or issue has been resolved, what were those challenges and how the organizations have overcome those challenges. That experience, that experience cannot come without any the whatever the efforts are made, right. So, it will not, you will not gain that experience without the whatever the your intellectual ability, your knowledge, your skills which you have put on, overcome that particular challenge, and then you have won that particular challenge and make your organization sustainable. So, therefore, in that case that whatever the challenges faced by the organization and the team which has worked during that particular challenges, they can never be compensated by any other source of knowledge, right. So, therefore, going to the zoo, to a very interesting example has been given here. Learn about animals through observation instead of reading about them, and growing a garden to learn about the photosynthesis instead of watching a movie about it, or hopping on a bicycle to try and learn to ride instead of the listening to your parent explain the concept is there, right. So, therefore, every activity like this riding, swimming, right. So, driving. So, here we can we have that learning by reading from the books, right. So, therefore, for the effective swimming you have to enter into the water, right. For the effective driving you have to make the practice of this driving, and for the purpose of the any managerial effectiveness purposes, you have to make a first hand experience, right. So, therefore, in that case that all these the first hand experiences which will tell you, right? So, therefore, in the swimming, in the case of swimming, you will not be able to swim if you have not done or exercise or practice earlier, and you have not swim yourself, right. So, therefore, in that case, by sitting at the edges, swimming cannot be learned, right. You have to enter, and that is becoming this particular experiential learning is there. Now, it stands in contrast to the prominent theories of learning which underpin most traditional educational methods like the behavioralism and the implicit learning is there. So, therefore, there is been the many contrast theories are there, right. So, here the experiential learning brings a different theoretical perspective as well seen in the following principle. So, focus on the learning process rather than the outcomes are there. So, this is very important, and that is why many times we say the students, that is the don't focus on the marks, focus on the knowledge. What knowledge you gain during your learning in the classroom. So, behavioral conceptualization of learning suggests you can measure effectiveness of learning by the number of facts or habits a person has learned in response to stimulus questions or the conditions are there, and therefore, in that case this particular stimulus that will help the learning, right. So, whatever the person is have come across, and these elements of thought or ideas are fixed, and the goal is acquiring more of them. So, experiential learning suggests that ideas are not fixed, rather they form and reform through experiences there. So, when you join an organization, so then that you are a trainee and you join an organization. So, you have the different image of the working culture, working practices, working positions, right. But when you go through that organization's culture, organization's practices, right, organization's positions, and then you form your on basis of your experience you form the different thought is there. So, therefore, in that case this process of the thought process which has been developed with the experience, that also becomes very strong, So, it is the process of learning is grounded in experience. The implementing, testing, evaluating and refining ideas exclusively with reference to familiar experiences does not present an opportunity for learning, because experience must violate expectations to hold values. So, as a result, education involves refining and modifying the old ideas as well as implanting the new ones are there, and experience is the vehicle through which this process can take place is there. So, therefore, the education involves refining and modifying the old ideas, right, and as well as implanting the new ideas are there. But these new ideas that you have to experience, when you will be experiencing the new ideas, then again you will develop your own thought process, that is the whether this new methodology, new system, and when you will be implementing, exercising, right, going to the familiar with that particular experience, then only you will be able to understand how much it will work or it will not work. So, that is why it is a transactional taking place between the environment and the learner is there. The resulting experience and knowledge is applicable in wider context, due to the fact that the knowledge is the result of testing and refining theories rather than learning by rote. So, therefore, in that case it is always the refining the theories are there, because the new input will come, the research will be done, new input will come, and therefore, in that case you have to identify that is the what will work in this particular context, and so you will keep on defining your theories are there. Now, the Kolb's experiential learning theory and learning style is there, and therefore, there are the two parts of Kolb's experiential learning theory. First is that learning follows a 4-stage cycle as outlined here, and Kolb believes that the ideally learners progress through these stages to complete a cycle, and as a result transform their experiences into knowledge is there. Now, what is the cycle is there? So, active experimentation is there, concrete experience is there, reflective observation is there, abstract conceptualization is there. So, whenever we are talking about the active experimentation, so planning or trying out what was learned, right, and there whatever the concrete experience is there, doing or having an experience, right. So, naturally as we were talking about, that is the whatever you are planning, right, and then whatever you do. So, there will be the reflective observations. Reflective observations are the on the experience basis will be there, that is whatever the concrete experience you had. So, that will give you that particular on the reflective experience will be observations will give you that particular experience, and the abstract conceptualization will be there, and therefore, you are concluding your learning from the experiences there. So, it is the while the second part is about the cognitive processes that occurred in order for the acquiring knowledge is there. So, in that case this cognitive part, right, that is about the conceptualization, observations and conceptualization is there. Whenever the any individual, when he is having these observations, and then on basis of these observations you will find that is the whatever the he conceptualize, and like my experience says so, right, and this will work, that will not work when the experienced people are there. So, then what we say, that is the experienced people, they have conceptualized by doing, because they are experienced. So, we can learn from the others' experience also. So, Kolb's learning cycle is based on the Jean Piaget's focus on the fact that learners create knowledge through interactions with the environment is there. So, that is why it is a transactional process is there, that is a transaction between the individual and the environment is there. So, this can either be a completely new experience or a reimagined experience that already happened, right. So, therefore, in that case any experience, either it will be a new experience will be there, at least people will be new, process will be new, technology will be new, or that is the experience which is already has happened. So, every year you are doing the same thing, so and your group has not changed, so people are also same. In a concrete experience, each learner engages in an activity or task. So, Kolb believed that the key to learning is the involvement is there. This stage in the learning cycle allows the learner to ask questions and discuss the experience with others. So, communication at this stage is vital as it allows the learner to identify and discrepancies between their understanding and the experience itself is there, right. So, therefore, concrete experience is there and each learner engaged in an activity or task, while in the case of the reflective organization is concerned, right, that is the he is allowed to ask the questions, while it was not in the case of the concrete experiences there, and discuss the experience with others. So, in this stage, so therefore, in that case when the discrepancies between their understanding and the experience itself is there, because there are the other people are involved. While in case of the concrete experience is concerned, that is yourself is involved. So, learner is engaged in an activity and task, while here the learner is engaged with the other people also, right. So, therefore, in that case it is the interaction between two, while in the case of the concrete it was the one single learner was there. Third one step is the abstract conceptualization. The learner attempts to draw conclusions of the experience by reflecting on their prior knowledge. So, always, right. So, therefore, whatever the experience the person is having, so there will be the prior knowledge will be there. Using ideas with which they are familiar or discussing possible theories with peers is there. So, they will be discussing the all the discussing the possible theories which will be applicable here. The learner moves from reflective observation to abstract conceptualization, right. So, therefore, now it is the he takes the crux out of that, and when they begin to classify concepts and form conclusions on the events that occurred is there, and therefore, they relate it, that is the whatever the event was there, and on basis of that event how it has been occurred. So, therefore, in that case always the reflective observation is on the basis of that particular phase in which the person has passed through. In the active experimentation is concerned. So, this stage in the cycle is the testing stage. Learners return to participating in a task, this time with the goal of applying their conclusions to new experiences is there. So, they are able to make predictions, analysis tasks and make plans for the acquired knowledge in the future is there, because they have the concrete experience, and therefore, in that case when they second time enter into that particular experience. So, they are already having the data with them, they are already having the knowledge with them, they are already having the what worked and what did not work. So, therefore, in that case do's and do nots basically. So, therefore, it is the whatever the task is there, they make the plans for the acquired knowledge and then accordingly in the future they will be deciding. So, abstract conceptualization is thinking and the active experimentation is doing, right. So, then it is the whatever you are thinking and then you will going for the doing it. So, that is the converging is there, right, and whatever you are doing and then you are feeling it, concrete experience is there, that is a then it is the accommodating is there, feel and do is there. Whatever you are feeling and then reflective observation is there, then that is the diverging is there, and whatever the reflective observation is there and the abstract conceptualization is there, assimilating is there. So, therefore, in that case that is the think and watch is there, right. So, therefore, in that case all these phases converging, accommodating, diverging and assimilating is concerned. So, here we always that learning style that decides about, that is the how the person with the help of the experimentation and then he can conceptualize the situations. Diverging or concrete experience, reflective observation, this learning style takes an original and creative approach rather than examining the concrete experiences by the actions taken. Individuals tend to assess them from the various perspective is there. And now here is another one more point I would like to add here, that is the individual's perspective. Now, the individual perspective itself will depend on the individual. So, whatever the personality he is having, whatever the past experience is having, what type of the environment he was having. So, therefore, all these diverging concrete experience will be reflective observation will be by the actions taken by the individuals will be there. Who were the colleagues, right, and how they have, because I am talking in the context of the negotiation. So, when we are talking about the negotiation, it will very much on the basis of when you are going for the negotiation with the union. So, your past experience, whatever you are having the diverging and concrete experience, that will help you. So, active experimentation highlights the problem solving in an approach to learning is there. So, naturally in the past, suppose that negotiation or wage agreement, whatever the problems were faced, this time you will try to avoid those problems. So, individuals who prefer this learning style are able to make decisions and apply their ideas to new experiences. Unlike divergers, they tend to avoid people and perceptions, choosing instead to find the technical solutions. So, therefore, now here you see that is those who have been the successful. Basically, it is a question of success and failures. And those who are successful, so they apply their ideas to new experiences, right. But those who have been the failure earlier, so they avoid the people and perceptions, and then they want to use these technical solutions for this particular problem, whatever the problem they have faced. Assimilating the abstract conceptualization and reflective observation is there. This learning style emphasizes reasoning. Individuals who demonstrate this learning style are able to review the facts and assess the experience as a whole. Accommodating is there, concrete experience or the active experimentation is there, and this learning style is adaptable and intuitive. And these individuals use trial and error to guide their experiences, preferring to discover the answers for themselves, right. So, therefore, they are able to alter their path based on the circumstances and generally have the good people skill is there. So, they are accommodating is there. So, in case of the assimilating is concerned, that is they review the facts and assess the experience as a whole, right. While in the case of the accommodating is concerned, so they are having the concrete experience and they very much active experimentation is there, right. So, therefore, their circumstances generally have the good people skills will be there. How can online learning help with experiential learning? So, they are now this is very interesting, that is the what we are doing. So, therefore, how this online learning will help with the experiential learning. So, many of you are having the experiential learning and executives in the industries. So, you know that is the how to work, but this is how online learning will help you. Similar is the concrete experiences. Online learning provides an awesome platform for recreating real world tasks, like the case studies are there, all within the safety of virtual reality. And these experiences can take many forms within online training, such as learning games or the game based learning is there. Provide opportunities for the reflection. So, provide ample opportunity within the training for reflection. Following a piece of learning or the simulated experience, you could include open ended quiz questions that invite learners to consider and evaluate their experiences. So, do not forget to give learners the chance to try again. So, through simulated experiences, simulations are done. So, reflective questions and social learning, everyone will be eager to try out their new skills will be there. So, learn from each other through social learning. Another important factor in the reflective observation stage of experiential learning is observing and learning from the experience of others are there, right. So, therefore, how corporate companies are using the experiential learning is there. So, some activities and approaches that you can consider here on experiential learning. Simulations is there. So, experiential training techniques uses electronic, mechanical or software based activities to simulate a real world situation to which a learner must react. Then these case studies, these are the great examples of the experiential learning that are based on the real life instances, situations that have transpired in the past. Then the role playing is there. These are the experiential training activities designed to help employees appreciate specific work situations from perspective different than their own. Sensitivity training is there. One highly effective experiential training strategy to enhance employee self-awareness and confidence is sensitivity training. Gaming is there. Experiential learning games are a popular way to help employees learn by doing. So, the games can be organized in a way that individuals and groups play with each other and to either collaborating or competing like in the real world is there. So, therefore, where it is the simulation is there, case study is there, business games are there, role playing is there, sensitivity training is there. So, all these aspects that will giving you this experiential learning is there. On the job training, of course, that will be give you the experiential learning strategies out there is, but the one that offers the most realistic training exercises are there. So, finally, we will come towards the conventional learning versus the experiential learning. So, conventional learning is the targeted training, solved in its frame, because focus on that particular learning only for the needs of the organization. Knowledge transfer is there, and conferences, presentations, etc. So therefore that will be conventional learning. Whenever we are talking about the experiential learning, theoretical learning, very practical, open and flexible for personal growth, knowledge usually develops, and examples of the hobbies and the patients, etc. are there. So, is the experiential learning the future of learning? There are 8 reasons why experiential learning is the future of learning. It accelerates the learning. Experiential learning provides a safe learning environment, because already you have that experience. So, therefore, you know this time what to do, not to do. Experiential learning bridges the gap between the theory and practice. Experiential learning produces demonstrable mindset changes, and experiential learning increases the engagement levels of the employees are concerned. It provides the accurate assessment results. Experiential learning enables personalized learning, and experiential learning delivers the exceptional return on the investment is there, and that is the ROI is there. As usual, this is the case study increasing the employability of Indian engineering graduates through experiential learning programs, and the competitive program is there. So, this is the very interesting case study, right. This case study will giving us the idea, that is the how this experiential learning program and competitive programming that can help us, right. So, implementation of initiatives in experiential learning programs and competitive programming in a private university is highlighted. An experiential learning program titled Live in Labs as part of the curriculum is exposed. It is courses such as the human centered design concepts to document observations and user experiences, user need assessments there, and strong mapping for this UOs and the POs, right, that is the program outcomes are there, and course outcomes inherent in the experiential learning program improves the employability, also the progression and the prospects of the students are there. This is a detail in the case study, that is the how the experiential learning has been used in case of the industries for in the universities, that is the how these they can collaborate and they can understand by having the type of the particular learning is there. So, this is the research paper. The experiential learning inspiring the business leaders of tomorrow, right. So, therefore, they need to, because what is that is the some the managers, those who are already experienced. So, they will be sharing, that is the for tomorrow how this the business leaders those who are after their education, after some years, few years of beginning of the careers, when they are becoming the leaders, then how this experiential learning will be helping them. So, this into the education of future business leaders has never been more urgent. The purpose of this paper is to discuss different approaches taken by 2 UK signatories to the UN principles of responsible management education is concerned. To work with the social entrepreneurs and other responsible business professionals provides the business students with the inspirational role models, and positive social learning opportunities are there. And therefore, when we talk now about this summer intern is there, that is a summer training is given, or that we are talking about the involved into the life projects, and especially the society focused life projects. The society focused life projects are those projects where they visit to the villages, and when I was in IIIT Bengali, at that time we have done this type of the number of projects. So, therefore, the students have went to the villages, and there they have to do the social work, and from there when they come back and they share with the class, that is the what was their learning is there, and what is the with the industries also, in the CSR also, corporate social responsibilities also. So, therefore, in that case students with the inspirational role models they will work and therefore that is social learning opportunities they avail. So, this paper suggests that experiential learning is an effective way of integrating ethics, responsibility and sustainability into the curriculum, but the research draws on the experience of 2 schools. Further research is important to explore these findings right in other contexts also. So, this is the book Experiential Learning is there, and Handbook of the Education Training and Coaching by the Colin Ward and the John Wilson, right. And in this book it represents a simple model of learning combination log which illustrates the wide range of factors that can be altered to enhance the learning experiences there. So, experiential learning offers the skills that can be successfully applied to a variety of settings including the management education, corporate training, team building, youth development work, counseling and therapy, schools and higher education, and the special needs training is concerned. So, this book will be helping you with the to understand more in detail about the experiential learning. These are the references which you can refer for your further studies, and this is all about, that is the how the experiential learning that helps a person in addition to learning through online and other secondary data or the classroom learning is concerned. Thank you.